Good morning, everyone. It's about 9 o'clock and we start some spring culvert inspections today. I'm stopping at this one first. Yep, I can tell just by looking in it, it's collapsed. You barely see any settling on the road, but it's collapsed. It's a pretty deep one. Was wondering why water wasn't coming out of it. I don't even think it's clogged. It's brand new. That was recently put in. You see how I'm kind of sinking into the mud here? This time of year we got to be very careful because yesterday I was driving along and this whole side of the road was soft. I just tipped and got the wheels completely buried on one side of the truck where I couldn't open the doors, but I got the winch out. Setting the winch up actually took longer than even getting out of it. So that was a good investment. Let's see what we can find today. There's no tree on that side, but we always hang up a blue ribbon because these issues may not appear to be a problem when this water recedes. Because the road's still frozen, this could seep away and this could go unnoticed. So we always put up a blue ribbon. You might be able to still see it in the trees. We had freezing rain last night, but the temperatures already got pretty warm. So slippery is not a problem. Mud is gonna slowly become a problem though. I got stuck in the road yesterday once. So everyone, out on these roads, we will come across culvert pipes that are sunken all the time. These roads get so many potholes during spring thaw that they have to grade it, they have to fix it. We're not gonna flag marks on every single culvert because if you're driving this far out, you should already be aware that there's holes and stuff. So unless there's a hazard that you potentially won't see, or if the hazard is so big that you could break something on your vehicle, then I'll put up orange flags, which mean danger, there's something wrong with the road. Blue means it's not really a hazard to you driving by it, but there is a problem, like right here. This culvert, I can't even see it. It's buried or the embankment collapsed over it, but it's clearly backing up. You see there's a lot of water just sitting here, not getting through the pipe. So I'm gonna put up a few blue ribbons because when the ground starts thawing, this could disappear and nobody might realize this pipe is blocked. But it's designed well because it's not overflowing into the road because it's just going over this little barrier down here and the next culvert seems to be operational. It's as simple as that. Blue universally means there's a water problem. If there's a beaver problem, I'll also put that up because the trappers are looking for blue, but it doesn't directly mean beaver. Now, orange, yellow, green, all those colors can be interchangeable. They sometimes mean different things by different companies, but out here, they're all warning signs. So this time of year, we got to use severe caution. Do you see this up here? To the left especially? These are all frost heaves. You see how the road's all messed up? Look at the hood as I go over it. See how we're moving around a lot? Some of these spots, you will just sink right through it. There's a hard crust on the top that's slightly frozen. Beneath it is a whole bunch of other issues. And look, somebody else put up blue ribbons. This one's also not draining. You see how there's a bump right there? We're not gonna go ahead and mark that because there's bumps like this everywhere. But we gotta be careful because certain parts of the road, especially how there's a layer of ice on the road right now, if there's an area where there's no snow for some reason, proceed with caution. That means the road is heated, and that means there's water moving around underneath it, and we could get stuck. I almost guarantee I'm going to get stuck somewhere today and have to winch out. But that's all the fun of these roads. It happens this time of year. I saw a park ranger yesterday dragging one of those cube cars. I'm not sure what manufacturer that is, but someone brought that out here with city tires and got it stuck in the mud. And they don't even know how lucky they are that they happen to have a bar of signal out in these places to be able to get the park ranger out. The park ranger's not mad or anything. They'll always be happy to help you out if you get stuck out here for whatever reason. No one intends to come out here and get stuck, but you gotta have plans of how you're gonna get unstuck in these type of places, and that guy had absolutely no plans of how to get out of here. Every now and then you'll come across a sign that says no cars, 4x4 only, $5,000 fine. The logging company puts those up, but they are rarely enforced. When they are enforced is when you get stuck in the middle of the road blocking their trucks, because that'll cost them tens of thousands of dollars in revenue if those trucks have to stop for half the day to get you out. That is why those signs exist. This time of year, they're not logging. The roads are too soft. Even if they load a truck to just 80,000 pounds, it's going to probably get stuck. In good conditions, they'll have their double trailers, sometimes weighing up to 200,000 pounds. But this time of year, the roads are a mess. They are a mess because it's still frozen underground and there's mud on top that's unable to drain because there's ice underground. That's the easiest way to put it. But we'll be driving today until the sun goes down, and I'm sure we'll find some exciting stuff. Today's route is a route we haven't done in about 2 years. Oh, look at this. See that sunken area? That means danger. Look how much we're tipping right there. Just because you see other people's tracks driving through it doesn't mean you can drive through it. I learned yesterday some of these tracks are hard to judge. You'll notice when they disappear into a patch of snow that some of these could be weeks old. This time of year, you could go days without passing somebody out on these roads. The loggers are still working. They're just stockpiling everything next to the road for when the trucks can get running again. There probably won't be any more deep freezes that allow the trucks to run this year. So they'll probably have to wait a couple weeks to get out. This is mud season. See this? It's just potholes after potholes. And you can even see by the track of someone else who was driving here at some point, they got a zigzag all over the road looking for the smoothest part. And in my opinion, there is really not a smoothest part. You're gonna hit holes regardless. And right here is a little bit slippery. All right, everyone, we're turning around right now because we're gonna figure out why we have water sitting up right here. See that water right there? I'm guessing there's another pipe that's not draining. It's not coming into the road right now, but I'm guessing there's a pipe here, so we're gonna hop out real fast. It looks buried. I'm guessing it's probably buried. Maybe right here. I feel like there should be a pipe here. There just might not be, because there's a dip here with a lot of water in it. That's a weird one. The road right here is also quite a mess. We also need to admire sometimes what other people are marking. So let's take a look at what's marked here. They have yellow for caution, and there's blue where the pipe must be, and you can't even tell there's a pipe there. There's cattails. There's been a mud hole and neglected for quite a while. No, I don't even think the pipe is there where they marked. Yeah, whoever marked this was a little incorrect on that one, because the pipe is actually right here and it's not functioning right because it was lifted up by a frost heave, so it's not able to effectively get rid of the water. But thankfully it's a metal pipe, and the frost heaving rarely will damage a metal pipe. If it was plastic, it would have crushed it on the way up to the surface. So it's just marked in the wrong spot. Let's fix that. Just stop in the middle of the road. There's no one around. Just got to hang up a ribbon. So this right here, basically frost heaving, especially near water. In the winter when it freezes, it can freeze down, depending on the area, 3 to 5 or even more feet down. If it freezes down to this, it can actually get shoved up by the ice. And now that it's shoved up multiple feet from where it's supposed to be, it's just not able to drain properly. So here's the thing. If the ground is super wet, the rule is it can pretty much only freeze 3 feet. If the ground is very dry, it can freeze down like 5 or 6 feet. Because the wetter the ground is, the more it acts as insulation. That's why lakes typically cannot freeze more than 3 or 4 feet no matter what, because then you have the Earth's heat on the other side of it acting against it. The ice becomes insulation. So what I'm marking right there is a place where the drainage ditch absolutely needs to be dug out, because that is going to contribute to frost heaving and potholes, how the water's not able to get down to that open pipe. All right, everyone, I just turned around because we have to mark something right here, because when the weather gets warmer, you're not going to be able to notice this, because it's going to stop when the ground softens up. You see there's water crossing right here? Well, say a big truck was to go through here, even when that dries up slightly below the ground, that's a bad situation right here, so we need to mark it. That's all. The road crew just needs to know that that pipe at the end of that ditch isn't working, and hopefully when they come out here to fix it, they'll realize the entire ditch should probably be dug out at the same time. We're not going to mark it, but I would like to show you this. We come across these pretty often. If it was much bigger, we'd mark it. But you see this little hole right here? Anything that's in the road within the frost line has a potential of getting shoved up. It's a rock that got shoved up and it now receded, making a hole. Sometimes I'll be on roads I travel for years and I'm like, where did that rock come from? There'll be a rock protruding in the road. It doesn't go back down. It's just massive and they have to end up digging it out. Got here, got water crossing, not too bad, and out comes the yellow tape. Rocks are what is causing this. A big old rock came up here and it has receded. You can see the outline of how big it really is, and that's also very soft, so your wheel would sink further than that. And you see the rock is causing these lines coming out here, all stress marks. Underneath here is a lot of frost issues also. So if you pulled over here, you would very likely get stuck. It's soft underneath there, so we'll put up a few caution ribbons instead of water ribbons. During the spring thaw, you don't want to be the first very heavy vehicle, and a lot of times I'm the first vehicle of the year and we'll find the unexpected. Like you see, there's always a potential that this part of the road can just open up from something driving over it. It happens. All the way down here, we have some pretty bad disturbances. And if I walk up the road right here, you see all these cracks right here? A lot of active groundwater going on under here, and that was a rock that came up and down. We're gonna put a ribbon on this one because there's also a bunch of other stuff I see coming up. It's not much, but I know personally I've hit these things at such speed, I'm just unbelievable. I've never damaged anything. I'm getting down low. I don't know if you can see the elevation there, but this is the kind of reason why during mud season you see logs all over the side of the road sometimes. They just fall off of the trucks. And back here was another pretty bad one. This one is not a frost heave though. This one is a culvert pipe sinking. The freeze and thaw cycles are really good at compacting soil. I don't think the pipe is crushed. I just think it's settling very badly. It could be. That pipe is already looking like an oval piece of junk plastic one, but we're gonna put a few ribbons up because I hit that at quite speed. Today's gonna be one of those days where we just go through multiple rolls of ribbon. I didn't hit it very hard, but this is a very abrupt one here. Frost heaving. That's not a culvert pipe. And there was some other bad stuff up there, but I just want to put a few ribbons at this just in case to help hopefully slow someone down. And it's been a problem for years. Oftentimes these reoccur in the same exact spot. This is so faded. It's a couple years ago. Frost heaves usually come back to the same exact spots. Looking at the growth of this tree, 1, 2, that could not have been more than 3 years ago. But hopefully in the middle of the night, it'll help someone out because these things are a lot harder to see at night. All right, everyone, we got a water problem here. The ribbons are bad or old. I'm gonna remark it. You see all this erosion right here coming down this steep hill. There's a metal culvert pipe here. That's actually a very deep one. I don't think anything's wrong with it. I don't see any rust on the bottom of it. I think it's just blocked. Also probably very undersized for the amount of ruts and erosion I'm seeing. But right here, the culvert is somewhere. Wow. Look at that. Look at all the silt. Wow, and it's solid. It can hold me. This pipe is probably feet underneath here. Because it's such a long run, it's really hard for me to tell where I would even try to start digging here, so I'm not even going to attempt it unless I have like evidence. Actually, here's a little deeper. That'd be awesome if I could find the entrance to it. I'm just looking for rotation or any proof of it being right here. Because actually that is a dip. I don't see any crowning in the road, so it's hard to pinpoint exactly. It's got a slight, ever so slightly tip to it. So it is likely in that hole right there. It is likely there. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the rake in camera number 2. We'll try to do something here, honestly. So how much can we even get open? These roots are horrible. I'm definitely marking this for the road crews. You may have seen it for a split second. We saw a moose. You see that right there? That's a pretty big frost heave. And you may not even really see it at night. People will be driving here, and this is how logs fall off trucks. Look at this. It's pretty abrupt. To a regular vehicle, it's not that bad, but to a semi-truck, that's going to make some things fall off. This is all frost heaving right here in this area. This is not culverts. We're a bit further north now, higher elevation, so the frost heaving is worse here. And we have snowpack. I just had to hit some ribbons up. I just had to put some ribbons up because I just hit this. That's a very abrupt one. You can even see I skid like 20 feet. I just couldn't stop, and thankfully I slowed down enough that I didn't hit the stop blocks or anything. But that's not a culvert. That's a very bad frost heave that's indenting like 18 inches. And here's another hole starting to open up. I'm backing up to show you this. This area is still very frozen. This will recede. A lot of this will go away on its own, but look at this bumps right here. If you're going by this at full speed in the middle of the night, some of that's very abrupt because you get a stretch of road like this, it's in great shape. And then that comes out of nowhere, and especially at night, you just can't see it. Like, look how far down the road I can see. Everything looks good. But I guarantee you there's some holes up here that we're not seeing right now. There's gonna be something up here. Something abrupt that just comes out of nowhere. I think there's a bridge coming up too. Yeah, like right here. See how this comes out of nowhere? And another one. And you can't really just go extremely slow out here at all times because these roads take a day to get down in the first place. This part of the road is starting to get difficult to keep a straight line even with four-wheel drive. It's very slippery. This right here is exciting to see. There's a bridge. Now this bridge might look a little bit beat up, but they had to do a lot of work on it a couple years ago because it got completely washed out. Looks like they may have reused pieces of it, but I know it was blocked. This part of the road is very pothole filled, and it is actually raining too, along with the splashes, but it's very slippery, so I gotta keep a slow speed. The mud just wants to pull you away, and it looks like the road conditions are gonna be like this for probably a while. because of the rain. It's just getting really bad. Not culverts. There's lots of very big, abrupt holes everywhere. Whoa! That was a bad one. Look at these sinkholes out here too. You know what? That was a bad one. We're gonna slowly back into it again. I want to put ribbons up around it. Yeah, see, if I go through it slowly, it's nothing. But I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. It's why I was under a bit of power there. But I think this part of road deserves some flagging. And I'm using yellow ribbon. Yellow ribbon's not my favorite. I also got orange. I'm just trying to get rid of this stuff. I got it somewhere discounted. But I gotta mark this because that's a bad one. And if I was going faster, that can cause suspension damage. This is the time of year you're lucky if you pass another car in a day. Gotta pound my boots off, get the slush off, because I'm starting to make puddles in the floor here. But hopefully someone will see this and not get into serious trouble, because this could cause damage. That's the worst. Oh, see, I even bottomed out a little bit. You hear that? Bad. If I'm able to hit that slightly, you see, I didn't hit it the first time, but I went over it a little faster, I guess, where I was able to hit the skid plate slightly, but it's not good. I doubt it'll be there when we arrive, but it's probably going to run away. I'll keep you zoomed in a bit 10 times so you can see what that moose is doing. If the camera is all around it, I'm trying to zigzag around a couple holes, but the stabilization actually is doing really good for 10-time optical zoom. But cool, we get to see a moose. That's the second moose of the day I've seen. The first one, I may have got its butt going into the woods. I haven't looked at the footage yet. But he's staring at us, I think. Okay, we're gonna out a little bit. 3 times. Ah, he's running. And into the woods. We're not going to see that moose. Oh, wow. Wow. Do you see those? Look at that. Look at that. Look at all the deer. Look at that. I gotta be honest, I do not see deer very often at all. I'm taking a picture. There's 4 of them, but only 3 of them stayed in frame. Wow. Typically you see more moose out here than deer. Supposedly there's a lot bigger deer population, but I guess they don't really walk on the roads a lot. We don't see deer too often. They're not too afraid of us either. Let me give you a shot out the side window. Hey, look at them all. They're very curious about me. They look cute. Look at that one. Nice. They got less fear than the moose. It's usually the other way around. That's another bad one. I should probably flag this one too to be safe. Because I know personally I wouldn't want to hit that in the middle of the night. Frost heaving is a very good compactor. These pipes here aren't crushed. They're actually very deep. They must be brand new. So they weren't very compacted last season. And this is a pretty abrupt one. So we put a ribbon there. I know personally when I'm driving around, if I see an orange or yellow ribbon, I will slow down because I know somebody marked it for a reason. And those ribbons will be severely faded by the end of the summer. So even if the road crews don't take them back down, they don't stay there for super long. Someone marked a hole there. That must be super deep or something. Got a bridge. We drove through a high elevation part. We had quite a bit of snow. Our MPG is now improving. I got down to an astonishing 9.5 MPG. That's the worst gas mileage I've ever had with this vehicle, but that's because we were going up a hill for miles and miles with a couple inches of mud and snow. But now we're on a better road. It's good to get out after a couple hours of these bumpy roads and stretch a little bit. My knees hurt a little bit. Just got out to see these pipes, because sometimes it's a sign that there's an issue when you have pipes this big with this much water built up. There could be something wrong, especially since they have an abandoned beaver deceiver right there with chew marks all over it. Something's wrong. Look how the water's barely going in there. Is this a big high boot moment? Oh yeah, there's even a little beaver dam right there preventing it from going down to the next pipe. There could be active beavers here. Let's get down on my knees so we can look in there. Yeah, there's a beaver dam in there, and I think we can solve it. What about the other one? Most definitely. Is it too far in for me to get though? It's in there a bit, and that's why you a lot of times see grates and people wonder why people have grates here, because they clog so easily. It's to prevent it from being in the middle of the pipe where it's hard to get, because usually now they'll have to come out with an excavator and a telephone pole to smash that out of the way. Let's look at it from down here. I can step in here a little bit without the big high boots. I think I can walk inside of these and get it. Oh yeah, that's right in the middle, and I think that'll be a pretty easy one, to be honest with you. But we got to get the big high boots on. This will be a separate video from the vlog today. We got a moose. I think it's gonna turn right here. Yep. Saw a moose. That's the third moose of the day. I'm backing up to show you this. Don't ever follow the log trucks too close. Look what fell off. We've been seeing these literally all day. Those are actually some of the bigger ones we've seen today. It's only paper wood, it's pulp wood. They're not doing lumber, so they're all fairly small, but they're usually like twigs. Those are got a little more beefy there. You see there's a few bumps right here? Every time you see some bumps, there's usually a couple logs. Another log. Look everyone, it just ran out of the road. We got a moose in there. It just started snowing a lot. Look at this. Look at all the maple syrup going through the culvert pipe. That's what that is. I must have passed at least half a dozen pumping stations. They're usually a little shed or a shipping container with pumps in them. I've been driving now for a half an hour, and still both sides of the road are nothing but trees connected to the systems. And we've passed a couple of sugar houses. They're not all going to the same place, but it's such a massive operation around here. It's nice to see some snow in the middle of April. We are in the highest part of Maine right now, so it can snow even in early June up here. This is one of the coldest growing climates around. I haven't been showing them all, but right here is another sugar house. This is the third massive one we've seen out here, and it took me 5 hours to drive out here from the pavement. So these people definitely live out here and don't go to the store often. Look at all that steam. You can smell it. The whole area smells like sugar. And up here in this climate, they will probably be going for another 2 months. That's why they're up here so far. They have plenty of time to make tens of thousands of gallons of maple syrup. At least the road here is solid, because a few places further down, I was afraid to pull over onto the shoulder, because you can get stuck pretty easily this time of year. Wow, another sugar house, one after another, only a couple minutes apart. So we've seen 4 of them. And they have a whole trailer full of stainless steel 55-gallon drums. They're shipping out massive quantities, probably to be repackaged somewhere else. I don't think they're bottling here, it seems. Yep, you can literally drive through here, and that's just this one road, an hour through it. And there's all kinds of other roads spider webbing through everything. So this area, they're obviously not going to log. This area, the maple trees are precious for these operations. You see the shed right there? That's a pumping station, and to the left, another pumping station in a shipping container. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but the sun just came out as it's snowing. It looks beautiful. This road's in really good shape. They must have just rebuilt it. That is a scary drainage ditch. You'd probably flip over if you fell in it. It's so big. They cut the trees really far back so they can't block the road if there's a storm. They did a lot of work here. There's no frost heaves. They lifted it up pretty nice. Why is the speed limit dropping here? I've been here before. I definitely recognize this. Oh, I think we're going through one of their camps. There's so many metal and plastic culverts, and you see the fuel island right there for the big rigs. They've got a lot of diesel out here. And I'm actually seeing power lines here. I'm curious to know if this is running off a generator or coming out of Canada, because we're real far out. Yeah, we just hit the Canada border. We're not going to drive through here. Turning around. I thought we were going to come across a special culvert I've been looking for years, but apparently not. But I have been here, and I know we're close. Haven't been to this area in a couple of years, but I recognize objects we're going by. Look at the buds on the trees. They're getting ready for spring. The buds are all turning bright red. It's starting to look pretty. I love this time of year. I sleep perfectly. I love when the temperatures get slightly below freezing at night. Whoa, that was a big frost heave. Okay, so what I'm thinking here is these couple sugar houses I just showed you, I think, are getting their power from Canada. Because Maine, if you look at a map, there's a whole quarter of the state. Nobody really lives here. It's all wilderness land. Most of it's protected land. And you need generators or solar out here. But I think from Canada, from Quebec, there's a power line coming in here that I just showed, going to a few of these sugar shacks. But where we unclog that pipe, I could hear it. There's a generator. There's something running. It's not going that far out. This shipping container definitely has a generator in it. I hear it running. There's a pumping station in there. There's also signs everywhere saying to report suspicious activity, so we're not going to walk around and show any of this stuff up close. We're going to turn around now at another sugar shack. They're everywhere out here. Because this road, I don't think is really where I want to be. It's also proving to be very, very bumpy because it's not a main artery. Hey, this area here, the trees, they all seem to be disconnected. Maybe they didn't start it yet because the growing season here is so late. I'm looking around. On the left side of the road, they're connected. On the right, all the trees are disconnected. I don't know if they're in the process of reconnecting right now. They probably are. They probably just didn't get to it yet. Because typically, and I learned this when I was doing my own maple syrup, if the ground is still frozen, which it probably is because of the snow, they're going to produce very little or nothing. Once the roots thaw, they start drinking a lot. So they probably didn't even get to it yet. That's a lot of trees and manpower. You have to do them all manually. And I'm not even exaggerating, there's probably 1 million trees out here connected to all these systems. They're everywhere. Yeah, and there's a lot of signs out here saying you gotta report suspicious activity because who knows what kind of wacko could do something out here to these things. Here's another pumping station coming up. They're everywhere. They got all these ones. No, they don't even have them all connected yet. But those black ones you see in there, those are all suction lines coming from somewhere far away. I can't show them all, but they are everywhere, these pumping stations. And these roads are so bad. Just terrible roads. I want to get back to the main road. And here we are, the main road. Wow, that's a lot of discarded hoses from the trees over the years. They have another pumping station here, which appears to be maybe abandoned. It's got a tower transmitting some kind of signal. I don't think it works anymore. All right, we're driving over a bridge here. Look at this, everything's starting to just thaw. Perfect conditions to start having ice jams. For example, if all this ice that's over the frozen river breaks and gets stuck under this bridge, it'll clog it and it'll flood. I've seen that happen before. It's really beautiful. Thankfully, I don't need four-wheel drive since this morning. I'm getting pretty good gas mileage, about 14 mpg. Not the best because the roads aren't the best, but this morning I was getting an astonishing 9 because we were going through such thick mud for an hour. Been seeing a pretty good amount of moose today. And some of these roads are just in very, very terrible shape. I believe this is the corner. That's why I started filming. There's a very bad frost heave. Here it is. They even did some work here so you can see around the corner. There's a culvert that's kind of messed up. And here it is. Look at this. It's all messed up. Whoa. All messed up. Don't want to hit this with speed. Ba-boom, ba-boom. I just wanted to honestly show that to everyone, so I'm just going to turn around. On this truck, I've had these shock absorbers for a while. They're not factory, because I lifted the truck, but they're made by Rough Country. Because they are on the cheaper end, I didn't think they would last very long, but they're doing very good. My truck now hits 72,000 miles with these things because I had them put on when it was brand new. And they're doing good. They're clunky. They make noises going over bumps, which was at first concerning to me, but I guess it's normal for this type of shock. They're not quiet, but they're proving to last a very long time, and I am not easy on my suspension at all. We'll be doing stuff like this day in and day out all year long, and it puts up with it pretty good. Some people say I'm kind of rough on my truck, and I'll just tell them time is money. These roads are so remote. Sometimes it takes me 5 hours to get somewhere on these roads. And if we were crawling all day, it would take days. So that's why. I'm not the only one. Most people you see driving out here are going quite fast. And you see what happens. The road's in pretty good shape. Around the corner, it'll be a big bump, but suspension's putting up with it really, really good. My old car, the shock absorbers lasted, shocks and struts. No. The shocks are still there after almost 400,000 miles in their factory. The shocks in the back never broke, but they sheared off the bolts, so I had to replace them. And here we're back to the bridge where I was showing all that beautiful ice. So yeah, I was a little skeptical with rough country at first because, you know, the shocks they're rusting and stuff because of all the sand I have to drive through and stuff. The same thing with my steel bumper on the front of the truck. That's made by rough country. The winch is rough country. It's holding up pretty good to this abuse, so I gotta tell you, it's a pretty good product. Although the paint job's not the best. I've repainted it twice and the rust just keeps coming back. I think I'm just gonna put undercoating oil on the bumper this year. It's a work truck. It doesn't have to look exactly the best. Ooh, we got a moose. Okay, we're at another sugar house here, but look at this. At first I'm like, is this potentially beavers? Because there's water built up to the left downstream. Not a big deal to the road, but the culvert is sinking, and look, they had to stick a bunch of logs in there so we can drive over it a little smoother. This is a pumping station with giant tanks. I think they're trucking it down to the sugar house because in this specific area, pumping might not be as feasible, so they might use tanker trucks to move it over to the sugar house. But look at all those lines right there. So we're still kind of driving around looking for a specific culvert. I've been searching for it for 2 years. I usually don't forget where these are. Mentally, I am very good with navigation, but this one pipe is one I have not been able to find for years. I know I'm very close because I recognize a lot of this stuff, but I'm not sure which road it is or if we'll even find it today. I didn't get the camera out in time, but a baby moose that's like half the distance from Mama Moose and me just ran into the woods. There's Mama Moose. Baby moose just ran here somewhere. I don't know where baby moose went, but it's in the woods somewhere here. This is the time when Mama Moose would get very angry if you were outside. It's very rare that they would ever go near your vehicle. You see, Mama Moose just went into the woods, and they'll reconnect as soon as I'm gone. Don't want to be out here between them on foot. Same thing with bears. Except in some cases, the moose will be even more aggressive than the bear. I've been down this road before. It's very snow covered. I'm not going to attempt it now, maybe later in the year. This road honestly looks like somewhere from northern Canada once you get down it. The trees are shorter than you, and there's a lot of swamp. It's very, very beautiful up there, but I'm not going to go down there and risk getting stuck in the snow. Like, I don't think I'd ever get permanently stuck, but I don't want to go through the pain in the butt of being out with the winch. So, they didn't plow this road, you see. They plowed it in, and I just drove through the snowbank. So I know I've been here before, and I don't think this is anywhere that I really, really want to be. They plow this up here, but I don't remember there being anything. I think it just goes to a sugar shack, honestly. Yep. It's literally a dead end. I remember this, so we're just gonna back up very carefully. I've got to turn around. the backup camera and the back window is so dirty I can't see. Otherwise, I probably would try backing up, and oh, look at that. That blends in perfectly with the birch tree. I wouldn't have noticed that. They've got a Wi-Fi camera right there. Just happened to be right there. Yeah, those are all over the woods, hidden cameras to deal with thieves and vandals. They're everywhere out here. So, just know that if you find a camera out here, it's not going to be the only one, and they're transmitting. Those are not recording on site. Oh, there's another one right there. You will get in huge trouble if you're caught messing with these sugar operations. There's cameras everywhere. They're hidden everywhere. So if you're tampering with one camera, you're probably on a dozen more walking in there. No blockage at this culvert, but they got a camera here. I think it's facing the wrong way. I think it's supposed to be facing the road. Today's a good day for moose. Look at that. It was just in the road. It ran in there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there's another one over here. Can you see it? Maybe, maybe not. No, it's too deep now. There's a baby one just a minute down the road. It makes me so happy to see the moose, because the moose are declining in population, but it's always nice to go deep into the woods and actually get to see a bunch of them. Because my area used to have moose crossing signs everywhere only 5 years ago. They took them all down. You don't see them anymore. When I was a kid, they were everywhere. Now you gotta go up north and see them all. They're all getting squeezed into a small area. The various elevations is fun. We were driving through inches of snow today. We also seen rain today. Now it's snowing again. I came here to look at this. Got a slight backup. It could be a problem with the pipe. That's why I came out to see. What do we got here? Okay. Feeling around for the pipe. It's open. It's wide open. So I'm guessing it's low there, high in the middle, low on the end. It's functioning, it's not backing up, but there's a problem with it. And that's actually a metal one. So I don't believe anywhere it's crushed, just seeing that it's metal. It's just not pitched correctly. We found another moose. Wow, another one. This is kind of cool. Look at that giant old fuel tank. I think it was repurposed as a culvert, then pulled out. It should probably be used again because it looks like it's in pretty good shape. But they have all kinds of scrap wood. That actually looks pretty good, that pile. But this is all old bridges. This is a junkyard that the logging company has. They got appliances. Someone's been shooting at the fridge with birdshot. Look at this. It's pretty cool, right? Logging company used to use this as housing. You can hear me slipping a little. I'm only in two-wheel drive. But look at all the abandoned bridges. I want to see if we can go in that and get a peek real quick. Pretty cool scrap heap. From the road, I couldn't tell if someone was living in here or not because you could only see the roof. Look at this. It's got a garage door on it. There's the way in, but it's blocked, so it was just pulled here and abandoned. I've always wanted to get tires like this for my truck, but I don't think they're street legal. Usually tires like that, you can't go full speed. Was that done by a bullet? What would have done that? Let's take a peek. Nothing in there. This is a mud hole. But it's not that bad. We're only in two-wheel drive. Finally ran out of gas. I'm transferring fuel right now and I came across this. What do we think happened here? Just eroded because it's kind of like a curb and it couldn't get in the ditch is what I'm thinking. I don't think it's related to the culvert, and I don't even think the culvert is here. No, there's not even a culvert here. It's further down. It's right here and there's nothing wrong, I don't think. Got a bunch of moose tracks. Now this area is a little bit more used. I still don't think we'll see a car, but there's a couple other people's tracks. There's gotta be a culvert here. The water's not elevated. It looks like a pretty normal pond bed. I hear water, but I have no idea where the pipe is. I think it's trickling over there into the pond. Wait, what am I hearing? I didn't even notice them. They're pretty friendly for an animal out in the middle of nowhere that doesn't see people often. Yeah, it's trickling right where they are. I hear an owl out there. That might be an abandoned beaver dam holding the water up. So I'm walking back here once again. Hear the nice owl. Yeah, there's gotta be a culvert pipe here. This is the lowest spot, maybe there, but I see water flowing in here. Guess there is a culvert, I just don't see where it's coming out. I guess it's buried beneath this massive snowbank. We haven't been here in a couple of years. The last time I was here, there was no bridge. It was a very small culvert, and they finally put a good bridge in. It was in very bad shape. Half the road just slid into the water because it got plugged and it started backing up.